Thank you so much for coming to practice together. Thank you for showing up for yourself. My hope is that through this process of directing our minds to particular points at particular moments, be it the breath or the intentional movements, the vinyasas that we place intentionally together and blend with the breath, that we can find that place of stillness within ourselves. Feels really needed right now, really necessary right now. So with your strap, take yourself onto the back body just so that you have the strap nearby. And you can come into constructive rest. Let the feet part, but the knees knock together. Bent knees, body starts to feel the pull of gravity. And perhaps the hands come onto the body somewhere. And you can set your gaze to a point above you or close your eyes. And just start the process of drawing in the parts of you that might be somewhere else. So where we get fragmented and we're thinking about this, or we're not aware that we're fidgety, or we're just letting the breath be somewhat shallow in the top portion of the lungs. And you start to slowly just observe yourself in your own space, and sort of like the reins of these wild horses or something, you're just kind of taking control of them and drawing them back into yourself and bringing yourself into a space of being more wholly connected to the whole experience of being right here and right now. Feel free at any time to start your music, if that's something you're choosing for today, or maybe it's just the stillness that brings you even more into your own space, where you literally feel for the five senses. The temperature in the room on the skin, the sound in your ears, the taste in your mouth, what you see, even if you see it behind closed lids. So your eyes might be closed, but there's perhaps a color or some spottedness or a light that draws your attention behind the eye gaze. Deepen the breath. And just remember the connection that we all share to each other, regardless of how it may feel at times. We can remember that we all have our own particular story, and so does everyone else that we know to be or cross paths with. And so start to just walk your feet a little closer. We'll create a figure four shape. So from the back body, cross the right ankle up and over the left thigh, and just draw that shape in, figure four shape. Find a little bit of external rotation or movement of the inner thigh away from, so on that right leg, right inner thigh is away from the belly a little, but seal the low back down, and you can take your hands to either capture the hamstrings on the left leg, or maybe the shin bone if you've got the heel towards the sitting bone. Find what feels good to you in a figure four shape, and take a few breaths into it. And so you expand into the outer right hip and the glutes on the right. And then we'll turn this into a reclined cow face pose, or Supta Gomukhasana. So sealing the inner thighs, crossing the right leg tightly up and over the left, but part your ankles so that you can kind of drag the hands down the shins from the knees towards the ankles and even towards the outer edges of the feet. Maybe you can get the outer edges of the feet. Wherever you're holding, can you find a little bit of energy of inner ankles towards the floor? So you use the hands and the weight of your arms to gently pull down, and you might expand through the outer right hip a little more, just noticing where you feel sensation. And you keep breathing. Eventually, you can just listen for now as I kind of walk you through where we're going. Eventually, you're going to release the right hand from the left foot and let the left foot come to the floor. You can keep your left hand holding the right foot because we're turning this into a twisting hand to foot pose from the back body. Now, this is where the strap might come in handy if you're pretty tight there. You can keep your left hand holding the right foot and set the left foot to the ground, maybe just bumping the hips a little bit to the right and then extending left leg out. And your right leg falls over to the left. This could be a lot. So for most of us, it's going to be the strap right around the ball mound of the arch of the foot. I'm going to hold the two loose ends of the strap in my left hand and let that right leg cross the body. So however you need to get there. If you don't have a strap, you could always just bring your left hand to kind of support the right leg, holding underneath in the sort of to the inner part, the more medial part of the leg. And just let that kind of be what supports and holds so you don't just come crashing down, which is can be pretty tight in the outer right hip and the IT band. Take a few breaths driving through both heels so you feel expansion and control through both legs. And just come back to center. If you have the strap, you can release it in constructive rest. And the hands can come onto the body again, feet wide, knees knock. Even maybe a little bit of windshield wipering of your legs where you let one knee move out of the way so the other one can kind of fall in. And here, just minimally controlling, right? So you let a little bit of the weight of your own legs kind of do the work. A little bit of flopping maybe. And then the feet can walk a little closer so you can set up for figure 4 with the left ankle on the right thigh. And then draw that in, sealing the low back and kind of seeing where it feels good to hold hamstrings or shin bone. Establishing your own sense of truth and what's right in your body. Supta Gomukhasana, so you can seal left leg up and over. Part the ankles, so as you kind of create a little bit of an X with those bent knees, then you can capture where it feels comfortable and start to draw down. I have my ankles in active dorsiflexion, so you just kind of, either way, it might feel like a little bit of a stretch to have just more relaxed feet. You can always check in with stuff. Seeing how the body feels, today. You're just directing your awareness to what's right here, right now. And that twisting hand to foot pose is what's coming next. So listen, it's the left hand, right foot that releases. You can set that down or straighten the leg out, and then you're starting to move with the left leg across the body. So feel free if you know, oh, it's pretty tight, go to the strap. Hold it with the right hand. So you can extend your left arm to the left and cross the body here. And then wake up both of your legs. So even if there's a bend in the knee, you're driving through the heel and you can feel a little bit of tension coming into the hamstrings. So tension is not always bad, right? As we meet with the areas where growth can happen. Couple more breaths before coming back to center. Back to center, you can release the strap, hug the knees into the chest. And then just rock up to a seat. So wrap your hands in behind the knee creases and rock up to a seat. Setting up for Navasana boat pose, but we're gonna take it, first just kind of find your ground through the sits bones. Keep your feet on the ground for now. Take your arms up over the head so you can feel as you reach through the fingertips, you kind of pull, lengthen the spine, and then capture opposite elbow over your head. So you kind of create a frame around your head with your arms. You nuzzle the upper arm bones back a little bit. Let the shoulder blades do what they do, so don't lock them down, right? Instead, if you could find the head of your humerus, the sort of head of the humerus and the upper arm bone in the ball and socket joint of the shoulder. Can you find a little bit of space in there where it's not jammed down, it's not rising up? Lean back, and then maybe you can float your feet. Maybe this is good with the feet on the ground, okay? Because we're gonna do a little bit of twisting. I want you to keep the low back lifting away from the earth so you can feel the low belly pull in. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, just a little rotation to the right, like it's maybe a quarter turn. It's not even maybe that much. And then come back to center. Big breath in and go to the left side. Keep reaching up with the elbows. Center, and then right. And so now you know what we're doing back and forth from right side to center to left side to center. So if you want to float your feet, you can kind of play with that. Inhaling to center, exhaling, a little rotation. Low back is lifted, and so is the upper sternum. Okay, it's a smaller movement. Couple more, and then we'll come into Supta Baddha Konasana Baddha Konasana with the soles of the feet together and the knees wide. So when you're ready, you can kind of bring your feet together, stay upright. And you can bow over your feet a little bit, maybe a little side to side. And any breathing that feels appropriate to you, if you would like to come into Kapalabhati, just a little bit of a snapping of the belly. Take a nice big inhale, you can exhale the air out. And then it's an inhale, seal the lips. So with the Kapalabhati, the exhale is a little bit more forceful. The inhale should happen pretty naturally. And you continue with that through the nose. Do a few more, and then you can come back to breathing naturally. So sometimes what brings us to peace is a little bit of burning out what we don't need anymore. So building a little bit of heat. Tapas, kind of getting the fire going. And even exerting ourselves so that we can kind of move from a little bit of extremes of exerting ourselves and then being able to come back to a place of rest. Now come to plank, okay? So cross the ankles, you can step back to table however you set up for plank. We'll do that again, so you can breathe however you wish or from plank. That breath of fire, Kapalabhati, the skull polishing breath. Okay, so whenever you're ready. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're in plank. Just set the knees down and start to build a high cobra. So as you set the knees down, the legs are long behind you, bend the elbows, hug them in towards the side waist and the side ribs. So there's a little bit of a bend of the elbows. You have your thigh bones down, your legs long behind you. Lift the upper sternum, lift the upper palate, and breathe some space into the front body. Stretch the skin of the belly. The muscles underlying will stretch. And then we're going to go to downward facing dog. So Adho Mukha Svanasana, tuck the toes under, send your hips up and back. Couple big breaths in and out. And then you can start to travel your feet forward to meet your hands. Keep your feet about hips width apart. You're going to take you have options, a variation of Padahastasana with your hands under your feet. But listen, if you can get your hands under your feet, which we all could if we bend our knees, right? If we give ourselves permission to bend the knees, but I'm going to give you options anyway. Your right hand with the palm turned up is going to cross under and tuck under your left foot, okay? Your left hand is going to cross over, tuck under your right foot, okay? So that may Feel okay, then you're hanging your head. You're gonna kind of work yourself into a deeper forward fold by lifting the sitting bones up. Or you can just capture opposite elbow, or sort of that genie stance with the arms, where you tuck the pinkies into opposite elbow crease and you can hang there. Okay, so Padahastasana with the arms crossed, or you can hold opposite elbow, or you can have genie arms. And then if you have the crossed arms Padahastasana, notice which arm is in front and just switch that. So you don't even have to remove the other hand. You can just cross the other arm in front. Or maybe just a little bit of a different sensation. And then release the hands from under the feet. Keep the knees pretty bent. Slowly roll all the way up to standing. As you come to standing, take the arms over the head, and like we did from Navasana, we'll capture opposite elbow over the head. Maybe you notice that you always go for the same sort of orientation of your grip. You can switch that. Really ground through your left foot, and with your right hand, pull on that left elbow and come in kind of a crescent moon shape up and over to the right side. Pull the belly in, let your sacrum kind of soften down. So not necessarily totally tucking the tailbone, but there's just an energy of front body meeting back body, even to the lowest part of your abdomen and low back into the pelvic floor. And then your top elbow, so that left elbow, is just going to kind of turn towards the earth. So you're still off to the side in a C shape. You're just going to kind of fold and look towards the earth a little bit. And maybe you can do the same thing by looking towards the sky. So now your bottom elbow kind of lifts and looks up towards the sky. And then come back to center. You might decide to switch your grip around and then pull off to the left side. Ground through that right foot really actively. And then can you kind of look towards the earth and then look towards the sky. And then come back to center and rise up. Take the arms over the head. Just meet me in Samastiti. So equal standing pose, hands at the heart. You can tiptoe your feet a little closer together. Standing at attention with the weight in the right foot. Inhale your left knee forward and your arms over the head. Now as you exhale, you can take your left arm back or the hand to sacrum and the right arm forward. So we're doing some rotation and you're keeping the left knee in front of the left hip. When you come back to center and your arms go up, take an inhale and perhaps you kick out that whole left leg. And then we're going to sit into Utkatasana. So feet side by side. Bring your hands to your heart and slide down, whatever it is that's behind you, the wall or the fence if you're outside or whatever it is, the space behind you. Okay, soften back and then we'll do the other side. So when you push off, stand up, arms over the head and right knee forward. Then it can be your right arm back, your left arm forward, or this right arm goes back, perhaps the hand lands on the sacrum. Take a moment just to make sure the center of your knee is in front of the center of your hip. And then we'll come back to center, arms up, and perhaps kick that whole right leg out. Take a full inhale and then sit into Utkatasana with your hands at your heart. We're going to flow with this. You're getting a sense of kind of finding your balance and pushing off with one leg at a time. So arms up, left knee forward, and then we rotate to the left, keeping the knee in front of the hip. And then arms up, perhaps kick the whole leg out. So you're firming through the quads, and then sit down, Utkatasana. Okay, knee forward, arms up. First, just finding yourself. And then rotate to the right. And then two arms up, extend through the whole right long leg, and then Utkatasana. Okay, we'll do it again. Inhale, stand up, knee forward. We're rotating to the left with the left knee forward. Arms up, kick out. Woo, find your balance, sit low, Utkatasana, 2 feet on the ground. You can ground in. And then right knee forward, arms up. And we go to the right side. Good, arms up, kick out. Utkatasana, sit low. Now listen, just stand all the way up, 2 arms over the head, and as you exhale, we'll fold forward. So we're moving on. Halfway lift as you inhale, and now just step back to a table pose. Set up for a modified side plank on the left. So you're going to keep your left knee down, pivot the left toes behind you, step your right foot back. And then your right arm to the sky. Find a little bit of engagement through that left side. And start to rise up to set up for gate pose Parigasana. So just create a T shape. Rising up, and then right arm comes down that right leg and you reach up and over with the left arm. Or maybe you bring your right hand onto your heart space, just over the heart. And that way you're really using the right side waistline to kind of support you there and working into the side waist. And then we'll come back up, inhaling, and as you exhale, back down to table pose for the other side. Now you're on your hands and knees, pivot the right toes behind you, modified or a variation of Vashisthasana with the right knee down. The left arm can go up. Start to find the right side waistline a little bit, and then pick yourself up into a T shape and move up and over to Parigasana, landing the left hand over the heart. Breathing into the inner left thigh and the right side body. And then come back to center. And table pose, and now Vasisthasana. You can do it again with the knee down, or you can lift the knee up. So stepping back to plank if you want the knee up. Set the left hand basically under the left shoulder, maybe just about an inch in front of. And then pivot onto the knife edge of your left foot, and your right arm goes up. Vasisthasana, take a full inhale as the hips rise. And then back to plank pose. You can always do that with the knee down just like the first time. Right arm is the base. Come to the knife edge of your right foot. Peel open. Left arm to the sky. Lift the hips, take a breath in. Plank pose. Set your knees down and lower all the way to belly down. And then low cobra, anchor through the tops of your feet. Rather than using a lot of weight in the hands to lift the chest up, maybe your hands float and you lift really using the strength of your low back. Lengthen the back of the neck, the side necks as well, so you're kind of more looking down. Breathe in and then child's pose. So send yourself back into child's pose for a moment. If you could kind of send the essence of softening into the lumbar spine. You often hear people say sending the breath, and I say it all the time, into the low back. Just kind of figuratively finding a way to create space there. And then inhale, come to table pose, and as you exhale, downward facing dog. And then from downward dog, take your right leg all the way up to the sky. Nice big inhale, exhaling right foot forward in between the hands. Bring the back knee down. So variation of Anjaneyasana with the arms streaming back. So you start to lift the upper sternum, but take the arms back, palms turned out or forward. So nice big inhale. And then exhale, half splits. If you can always bring the blocks under your hands or touch down with the fingertips. But if you can, maybe you can take the arms just forward. You're long through your right leg and stabilizing. What we'll do from this place is stand up with the left knee forward. So we're coming all the way up. You're gonna reground your right foot, push off, take your left knee forward and just take your arms behind you, almost like you're gonna kiss that left knee. Arms stream back. Nice big breath in. Utkatasana with your hands at your heart. So once again, set the left foot down, bend the knees, bring the hands into the heart center. Slide down that space behind you. And we're gonna go right into halfway lift. So pour forward, lengthen your spine. Take a full inhale, crown forward, tail back. And then Chaturanga Dandasana. So you can step back, hop back, Flow through vinyasa with up dog or cobra. You've experienced them different ways, just kind of having gathered that information, taking it where it feels good. We'll meet back in down dog. And just some breaths. Directing your attention as fully into aspects of right now as you can. I'm here now, there's nowhere else to be. Take your left leg up and back from downward dog, and then step your left foot forward. Bring the back knee down. When you're ready for an inhale, the sternum rises, kind of lift from that place in the upper pelvis, but take the arms behind you. And then the exhale is half split, with the arms streaming if possible. If not, no big deal. Just bring the fingers down to the ground of the blocks. Pause for a moment as you find this first one. Setting your gaze, and then we're going to push off. So you'll reground the left foot. Push off, take your right knee forward, and the arms stream back. Full inhalation. The exhale is Utkatasana with your hands at your heart. So set the right foot down, slide down. Maybe really low. So you're really feeling the strength of the legs perk up. Now halfway lift. So fold forward and lengthen as you breathe in. Float back, Chaturanga Dandasana. Or anything that gets you mindfully with your own body back to down dog. Good, and then right leg up and back. And right foot forward, back knee down. Stream the arms back as you come up, inhale. Half splits with that right leg long and the arms coming forward. Then we reground the right foot, stand up, left knee forward, streaming the arms back. So all this sense of center. Utkatasana with your hands meeting in front of your heart, slide down. Fold right in, halfway lift, inhale. Vinyasa, Chaturanga Dandasana. Or your variation. Meeting in downward dog, and then your left leg goes up and back. And your left foot forward. Back knee down, then the inhale is to open the heart. String the arms forward, Ardha Hanuman. Launch and take the right knee forward, arms behind you. Utkatasana, exhale. Halfway lift, breathe in. Chaturanga Dandasana, breathe out. Do a little bit of a flow, and when you meet with down dog, begin again, other side. Good, yes. So this is your flow, right? And if you forget, no big deal, just kind of find your way there. That's awesome. Yes, Kimberly. Amazing. Yeah, and if you didn't even remember which side we were on, who cares, right? Good. Make sure you get both sides, whichever one you started on. We'll meet back in downward facing dog. Awesome, Dina, yeah. Amazing. So the wobbles are there, stabilizing us, like bringing us into our sense of center. So let them do their thing. They're kind of helping us work it out. We'll meet back in Adho Mukha Svanasana. Downward dog. And then take your right leg up and back. And right foot forward. Exhale, back knee down. Same as before. Stream the arms back, inhalation. Exhale, straighten the forward leg, reach forward. Now we launch, left knee in the air. So bring the foot flat, come up. And as you exhale, you'll sit into Utkatasana with the hands at the heart, but then rotate to the right, hooking your left elbow to that right thigh. Establish yourself, finding the weight And balance between the 2 feet, riding that up into the interiority of your legs and your pelvis. Bring the weight into the right foot, and just for a moment, see if you can just come up onto the ball of your left foot. And maybe you can bring the heel bone towards the sitting bone, so you start to balance just on one leg. And then step it back so you're in revolved crescent. Good. Now can you fly your arms, just kind of opening them up. Left arm down, right arm up. Beautiful. Peel open, take an inhale. Turn to your left, wide-legged fold. So all 10 toes will orient towards the left edge. You just come into a wide fold. And then begin to drop into just Ardha Skandasana. So you're bending into the left knee, dropping into a lunge there, and then come back to center, bend into the right knee. And maybe going side to side a couple more times, just finding fluidity. However deeply you want to dip into those lunges is up to you. And then we meet back at center, bringing the hands to the hips with a flat back. Inhale all the way up. You're facing the left edge of the mat. And then we'll turn to the back of the mat for warrior 2. So left toes turn back of the mat. Bend into your left knee, warrior 2. And just let your arms kind of float a little bit on the surface of water, rising and falling a little. And then the hands eventually just rest softly at shoulder height. When you're ready for an inhalation, you're going to kind of give yourself a hug, capturing opposite scapula behind you, and turn to a goddess pose. So take a little right turn, goddess pose, toes out, heels in, and you'll just kind of wrap your arms around your heart and bring the palms right onto the scapulas and sit low. And then take warrior 2 to the top of your mat. Okay, so same shape as we just did, but now oriented to the top of the mat. And then tip back and reverse the warrior. So peel back. Take a full inhalation. And you can flow through Chaturanga Dandasana. What serves you there? And meet. Beautiful, you guys, yeah. And then in downward facing dog. And then the beginning is the same. So your left leg up and back. And your left foot forward, back knee down. Stream the arms behind you as you lift the upper sternum, upper palate, arms go back. Half splits, straightening the forward leg, peeling the toes back towards you, and arms forward. Then we launch. So reground the left foot and come up, knee forward, arms back, kind of giving that knee a kiss. 2 feet side by side, hands at the heart, hook the right elbow to the left thigh. So we're rotating to the left now. Establishing yourself there. And you can start to lift just so that you're on the ball mound of your right foot. And then heel bone to sitting bone. So you kind of play with that finding of balance first. And then step it back so you're in a revolved lunge. Awesome. Good. Can you open your arms, right fingertips towards the earth and left fingertips towards the sky? Good, Caroline, yeah. Awesome, Jen. Good. And perhaps there is just one more inhale breath. And then release and pivot to the right for a wide-legged fold. And just like before, kind of allowing yourself some time to go side to side. Maybe this time going all the way into the depth of your expression of skanda, where your left toes turn up in the right knee bend and your right toes turn up in the left knee bend. Eventually we'll meet back at center. Your wide fold, head hanging. Bring the hands onto the hips and come all the way up with a somewhat flat back. And warrior 2 to the back of your mat. So you can start to build that warrior 2, nice tall spine. Arms out. Good. When you're ready for an inhalation, give yourself a hug. And if you remember which arm was on bottom, you can switch. And if not, it's really so small. Goddess pose, giving yourself a hug. Sit a little bit lower, but take an inhale. And as you exhale, warrior two now to the top. And then reverse your warrior. So peel back, feels good. Creating space, not only in the body, but maybe even more importantly, or equally as important in the mind. When you're ready, big breath in and you can flow through the vinyasa that gets you back to down dog. Good, awesome, Tracy, yeah. And take a few breaths there. In down dog, or even coming to the knees and exploring a few cat-cows, or, this is just some time for you. Yeah, something else might feel really good. If you're wanting that fire, plank pose or even a forearm plank might feel good, just for a moment. Yeah. Feel your own inner strength, and we can use it to fuel other parts of our lives. We know that we have this constitution from a physical perspective that can translate into our emotional, into our energetic, even into our spiritual, if that is you. From downward facing dog, we'll meet back there. We're gonna take the right leg up and back. And then step the right foot forward in between the hands, setting up for warrior one. Spin your back heel down, keep the orientation of the hips towards the top of the mat. And then rise up, warrior one. Okay, take a big old breath in. As you breathe out, just arms streaming forward, kind of like in Hanuman, when we took the arms forward. And keeping the right hip gently pulling back. Bring your torso down in line with your left leg, more or less. There's this nice long diagonal. Strong through the right leg. Feel the right hip gently pulling back and in. Ground through the back foot, reach through the fingertips. You've got this nice long line. When you're ready for an inhale, you're standing up, left knee forward, and the arms kind of behind you. So push off and come up. Just rounding in, you've seen this a million times already. And then figure four, left ankle onto your right thigh, hands to the heart, slide down. Take a moment just to find a little bit of buoyancy, your sense of center, the strong right leg. The right hand, so first left hand on left hip, and then right hand's gonna come to the knife edge of your left foot. And you'll stand up, extending the whole left leg long in front of you, straight out from the hip joints. And rotate your upper body to the left. Okay, so the leg does not have to straighten all the way, and you're just kind of exploring the lift of the upper sternum, the lift of the upper palate, left hand behind you, or maybe on the sacrum. Keep extending through, finding the strength and stability through both of your legs. Take an inhale. Sit into Utkatasana with your hands at your heart. So release the bind. Hands to the heart and slide down. Now your left leg is going to become your standing leg. Stay seated in a nice deep Utkatasana. Take your arms up and circle your right arm under your left and your right leg over your right for Garudasana. So right arm under, right leg over. Left leg is your standing leg now, and you're sliding down again. See how low you can get, how condensed you can be. And then from this place of being really condensed with the eye gaze set, open out to half moon. Ardha Chandrasana. Big breath in, will peel you open. You can always use the block. Stacking hips and lungs and shoulders. Stabilize, breathe. Full inhale, warrior two is next. Bend into the left knee, sit the right foot down behind you. Good. Nice transitions. And then triangle. So the forward leg can straighten. I have a little bit of a deep stance, so I'm going to shorten it up a little bit, bringing my right foot a little closer to the left. And then bowing in, keeping that sensation of stacking shoulder over shoulder, lung over lung. Left arm down, right arm up, or over the head. Good. When you come up, you can use your right fingertips to kind of pull you up. Fold the right toes out just a little bit so we can go into Skandasana with the right knee bent. You're going to drop down. And then you can keep your hands on the ground, or you can play with bringing your hands to your heart. You can even play with, and I'm going to set my right fingertips to the ground for a moment. You can even play with taking your left peace fingers, trying to wrap them around your left big toe. And then can you find a little lift from your upper sternum and upper palate to create that sense of center? And maybe your right arm goes up and you're peeling. So right now my right knee is like, okay, I'm going to close then. I'm going to come right into center line, but can you still be peeling the right knee open? Whoa. Big breath in. It's not easy, right? As you breathe out, we'll release hands down, crawl to the top of the mat, step the right foot forward to meet the left. And then bring your right hand onto your right hip and your left hand just below the knee so you can stand up again. Surprise, surprise, with the left knee forward. And once you have established yourself there, know that you can keep hand to knee and peel this left leg open to the left, or even peace fingers wrap around the left big toe, and then you can open it out. Okay, so standing hand to big toe, standing hand to knee. Maybe the right arm goes up or out to the right, of course, more traditional. Fill your lungs. When you're ready, you can come back to center. Perhaps you leave the leg long out in front of you as you take both arms up. And then sit into Utkatasana with your hands at your heart. Now halfway lift, pour forward, lengthen out. Flow through your vinyasa to get back to downward facing dog. Resetting, recalibrating, yes. I'm here now, I am. Slow rise of your left leg up into the sky. Land your left foot in between your hands and come up Virabhadrasana 1. So here we arrive, we get a full breath in, and then arms forward, creating that nice long line. And then the integrity of the left hip is kind of back and in towards the center line. So maybe it allows you to feel a little bit more kind of contained, right? As I talked about that whole sense of yourself. When you're ready for an inhale, it's right knee forward and arms back. So kind of curling in to give a kiss. And then figure 4, sliding down, right ankles on left thigh, and you bend the left knee, hands at heart. Okay, so a little bit of buoyancy. Where are you in space? How present are you? Your mind, your breath, your body, and what it's got going on today. Right hand, right hip. Left hand to the knife edge of the foot, and then stand up, extending the leg forward in front of the hip. Either right hand to sacrum or behind you. Explore it. And breathe. Got some time. Can you lift the upper sternum, the upper palate firm through both legs, driving through the heel? If you fall out, come back in. Nice big breath in, 2 feet side by side, hands to the heart, slide down Utkatasana. Stay nice and low, bent knees, sitting far back and down. Take the arms, just the arms up. Left arm on bottom, eagle arms, left leg up and over. And just get in a tiny little compact situation. Eye gaze is crucial for me here, not setting or holding in a particular place, that drit or drishti. Then we're opening up to half moon. So when you're ready, you move with your breath, an expansive inhale, an expansive shift of shape. Ardha Chandrasana. And then it goes to warrior two. So how can you be in all the little pieces? Triangles coming, straighten the forward leg, maybe a little shorter stance. Come on in. When you come up, your left fingertips might be sort of helping to pull you in a nice contained fashion up. Turn your left toes out, drop down into skanda this side. And then the hands either at the heart or on the ground, or you can play with tapping fingertips to right toe or wrapping the peace fingers around. You know now kind of why and what. And maybe there's different explorations that set you up for where you're going. Releasing to crawl forward to the top of the mat. Just step your left foot forward to meet your right. Bring your left hand onto your left hip, right hand just below the knee, and push off to stand up. Of course, you can just keep the hand right at the knee and peel open, or peace fingers around the right big toe. Arms straight up. I kind of like that sensation of arms straight up, but amazing, yeah, Krista. Good. When you come back to center, can you keep the leg out? Take the arms up, fill up, and then sit right into Utkatasana with your hands at your heart. Let's slide a little bit further down. When you're ready for an inhale, create halfway lift. So you're right away pouring forward, and then Chaturanga Dandasana. Meet me in down dog or child's pose or seated on the shins. Or dolphin, yeah. Good. We'll come forward to plank. So from down dog, plank, hold your plank. And can you get a sensation of drawing back with your inner ankles? Forward with the upper palate, but also as you're coming forward with your collarbones, they're also fanning. So this chest open, belly strong. Yeah, lower all the way down to your belly when you're ready. Just bring one ear onto the mat. Let your arms stream back behind you. Gently rock your hips from side to side. Kind of make sure that you have your strap somewhere close by. If you need to kind of figure out where it's at, pull it in so it's near one of your hands, and then just simply flip right over onto your back body. So from right where you are, just now flip on over. Yeah, if that makes it terribly challenging, you can spin around. Constructive rest, hands on the body somewhere. Direct your awareness and attention inside. So the inhale and the exhale, sort of connecting you with a living expression of the external world to the internal world. And then walk your feet a little closer together, let the knees part, cross your right ankle up and over your left thigh, and figure four shape. This might go a little further at this point. You might have a little more depth. You might even cradle your right leg. So that lower right leg, you could tuck the knife edge of the right foot into your left elbow crease and wrap your right arm around the upper right leg bone and kind of capture, and then send the left leg long, maybe to the sky, or maybe it comes down towards the earth, hovering. You can kind of rock the leg that you're cradling side to side. Bring it back to a figure four with the ankle to the thigh so that you can thread it all the way up and over into reclined Gomukhasana. And maybe there's a little bit more space that you notice here. Maybe there's something new about it. Whatever that might be. You're keeping left hand to right foot, so just kind of retracing steps we took earlier. Left hand stays around the right foot, right leg can release, or excuse me, left leg can release and go long. And then can you make this that twisted standing hand to foot, where you extend through the leg and it crosses over the body, right arm to the right. Bring in the strap, or just keep a little bend in your right knee. Leg goes back up to the sky, two knees hug into the chest so you can release the grip. And then set the feet down, left ankle crosses over the right thigh. Bring that in. Explore cradling if you did that on the other side, knife edge of the left foot to the right elbow crease and around. Leg can go long. Right leg. So yeah, you just, same as the other side, but one side's usually pretty different. Rocking if you did that on the other side and it felt good. Even if you didn't, it might feel good on this side. And then Supta Gomukhasana, so you can kind of come back. Left leg is up and over, ceiling inner thighs. Make that X shape with your legs and then hold down gently. You know where we're going, so right hand keeps the left foot. You can release the other portion of this. Start to take the left leg over the body. It's rotation, you get that hips, spinal rotation, and when you come back to center, either you can come into Baddha Konasana, Supta on the back body, soles of the feet together, knees wide, or maybe pick up your hips into a little bridge for a second before, and then go feet together, knees wide, hands on the body. Settle back. A few breaths before final Shavasana. So it's like you're getting ready to be ready, and then get in there. Take your legs long. Tuck your shoulder blades underneath you. I think that always feels good to kind of feel more expansion across the chest and free up the heart a little bit. And when we talk about peace of mind or of heart, the interesting thing about it is that it is never far away. It is never somewhere else. It is within us, and it's simply like taking the cord that is you and plugging it in to you. It's literally, peace is now, it's your nature, it's within you. And these are tools that I think can act as that conduit. So here, stay tethered to aspects of what's right here. So if the mind is going somewhere, at least it's going somewhere that is a sound in the space, a sensation in your own body. A breath in, a breath out. Peace is the inner nature of humankind. If we can find it within ourselves, then we can find it everywhere we look. Ramana Maharshi. Please know that if you want to take a more extended Shavasana, you have technology here. You can literally reach over and hit the mute button and rest. You can log off. You can take a 15-minute Shavasana if you have that kind of time. If you have that, take that. If you're needing to move on with your day, just start to kind of deepen the breath and move the body. Come to stirring a little and eventually rolling off to a side and coming up to seated. Meet your hands in front of your heart. Thank you so much for practicing. I bow to you. Namaste.